Good morning, comrades. It is a beautiful and lovely Tuesday morning, or Wednesday morning. Wow, I don't even know which day it is anymore. It is March, February. I don't know what month it is either. 24th, 2021. How is everybody doing today? Just kind of pumped for myself. Wow, why am I so blurry? Hello, you don't want to miss any of the beautiful contours in my lovely, fantastic, beautiful face. And if it's blurry like that, still working out some bugs over here at GMCHQ, but we're gonna get it straightened out. There we go. Now we're still no good. Come on now. Oh my God. Oh, it's tough for y'all. It'll settle in on me, and y'all just have to deal with it. Anyway, good morning, comrades. It is the 24th of February. It is a Wednesday. I'm doing pretty good today. I have actually some fairly exciting news for myself. I am going to get my first round of vaccination today. And I can tell a little bit about that story, which was actually a little bit crazy. Sign up for that was on Monday, and it started like right when the show ended. So the vaccination, they had a window, right? They had something like 500 spots for 500 spots for people to sign up to get a vaccine. And it opened at 9:00 on this past Monday, 2 days ago. And that was also kind of hilariously the first day that we did our live show. I mean, this is day 3. I think we're doing pretty good. But anyway, on day 1, we were still trying to figure out the bugs. We're still working on a lot of stuff. I mean, we still can't get the camera to even focus right. I mean, this is a goddamn shit show, absolute mess. But anyway, right when things had shut down here was when the window opened. So we had to shut it down, take care of all the business, like right at 9:00. And I had the website already pulled up on the side, like ready to go. And boy, am I lucky that I did, because as soon as you sign in, you had to do a couple click boxes, and you can see in real time the number of appointments just ticking down and ticking away. And they were gone within literally 1 minute. By 9:01, there were no more appointments. And I clicked it, and I got all the stuff in, and it said that I didn't get an appointment. But then 10 minutes later, I get an email saying, "Oh, you have an appointment. And it's Wednesday at 2:00. So today at 2:00, I am going to be getting, hopefully, if they didn't bungle it, which I'm not convinced that is the case. This is through the Jefferson Parish, is the parish I live in, by the way. So anyway, if it's not bungled, which it may be, I will likely be getting the, I think it was a Pfizer vaccine, and that's that. Let's see how it works out. So anyway, how's everybody doing today? Identify yourself in chat. Don't be a coward. Don't be a lurker. Say hi. Say hi to me. I'm a nice guy. I'm friendly, right? Oops. That wasn't a chat. All right. Well, I do have a couple of stories today. I wanted to start with a COVID story, which is always so much fun. Not that one. Almost a third of people with mild COVID-19 still battle symptoms months later, study finds. So let's take a look here. It's been almost a year since Michael Regan, 50, came down with COVID-19. I woke up first thing in the morning and I felt really hot and out of breath, he said, recalling the morning of March 22nd, 2020. I went into the bathroom trying to catch my breath and I immediately coughed up blood into the sink. I ended up in the hospital that day and tested positive for COVID. Reagan said he spent 2 months in and out of the hospital last spring with acute COVID-19. But for as hard as it was, that he's been through, what he's been through since could be considered just as bad, if not worse. His current symptoms include constant pain in his chest, painful nerve pain in his hands, legs, seizures, tremors, and loss of vision in one eye. Quote him, since then it's been a roller coaster, he said, with ups and downs, new symptoms, a whole series of doctors, medications, and tests. I realize that I have a lot of damage from COVID and it's changed my life completely, he said. He has not been able to return to anything near active life he's enjoyed before. So I'm going to continue on here, but because there's going to be more cases or hello, Lauren. Lauren, real name. Is that your real name? Lauren, real name? Anyway, there's going to be more sort of anecdotes about this kind of thing. But one of the things that I I don't like to think about it, I guess, but I can't help but think about is how when this COVID situation sort of happens and we didn't have all the information when we decided you know what, we're not going to really lock down. We're not going to take this seriously. We're not going to go back to school. For me specifically, go back to school. We're not going to lock down the society particularly strongly, unlike they did in many other places. And many other places screwed it up nearly as badly as, well, not nearly on the Titanic size and scale that we've had, because we were one of the biggest nations in the world, and we're one of the large. I mean, India had a nightmarish term of COVID. I don't want to undersell any of that. However, these are the effects that we get when we kind of rush ourselves back into something that we're not even sure of or aware of, and when you don't value people or what they're going to be going through, because this is not a unique case. Your real name is Google sucks, but for some reason it wouldn't let you enter it. Well, that's an injustice. You've been silenced and deplatformed. Let me continue. Unlike Reagan, when the 34-year-old Stephanie Condra got sick with COVID-19 last summer, she didn't have to be hospitalized. Her symptoms were comparatively mild: fatigue, shortness of breath, stomach pain, and cramping, all and a low-grade fever. But after it appeared she had discovered from her acute illness, Condra says she began developing a wide array of health problems that waxed and waned but did not clear up. So terrible sinus pain, nausea and loss of appetite, bone-crushing fatigue, dizziness and burning sensation in her chest, a dry cough, brain fog, concentration issues, and problems with word retrieval. So it was affecting her cognitive ability even. My symptoms are constantly evolving. I get the same symptoms again and again. And it's one will kind of disappear and others will come up, she explained. So this is permanent effects that people are getting from COVID. When, think about that the next time somebody tells you, oh, you get it a couple of weeks, it's like the flu, and you just go back to the world and everything's just fine. No, you don't want to get this disease. And the fact that we're being forced into situations where many people didn't even get to leave, to not be in work for a little while. You're forced to be, in person if you're a first responder or a grocery clerk. If you bag groceries or push buggies at the grocery store, you didn't get any time off for this. You didn't get any extra pay, really, not any meaningful, not worth this. What we're learning, nobody is sure what percentage of people who've infected with SARS-CoV-2, that's the COVID-19, like the actual name of the COVID-19 virus, go on to develop post-COVID syndrome. A new research letter published on Friday in the journal JAMA Network Open is shedding new light on the condition. Researchers from the University of Washington followed 117 people with laboratory-confirmed SARS-CoV-2 infection for up to 9 months, the longest follow-up to date. Notably, this group included 150 outpatients who had mild disease and who were not hospitalized. They found that 30% of respondents reported persistent symptoms. The most common were fatigue, loss of smell or taste. More than 30% of responders reported worse quality of life. So basically, 30% of responders, 30% of the people that were of these, 117 people that were tested, 30%, one, like a little less than 1 out of 3, maintains some kind of symptoms going forward. 150 had mild and weren't hospitalized. So that would be 50 people, or a little bit less, like 48 or something like that. 14 participants, including 9 people who had not been hospitalized, reported having trouble performing at least one visual activity, such as daily chores. Usual activity, I beg your pardon. The researchers wrote that 57.8 million cases worldwide. Even a small incidence of long-term debility could have enormous health and economic consequences. So let me do some math. We just had, how many cases in the U.S. have there been? COVID-19 cases in the U.S. At this point, there have been 28.3 million cases of COVID-19 in the U.S., just in the U.S. Worldwide, there's been over 100 million. 30% of 28.3. That's, let's see. I mean, I can do some mental math, but let's be as accurate as possible here. Let's do a math lesson. I haven't taught math in a little while. I've been out of school. Where's the calculator? $28.3. Wait. 8,300,000. Okay. Times 0.3. That means out of those, if the numbers in that study hold up, over 8 million, almost 8.5 million people we'd be going through similar symptoms and situations post COVID. So that's 8.5 million people whose lives have been potentially ruined, or at least for a very long time they've been impacted because they've gotten this horrible virus. And sometimes I get like a little bit self-conscious, like thinking, do we talk about COVID too much on the show? Do we talk about COVID too much on GMC? And I don't think that's possible to do that, because it's something that's like affected everybody. Good morning, torrential rage. It's something that's affected everybody like extremely, like profoundly over the past year. I mean, like the fact that people are, hey, top damage wizard. It's something that I don't know. It's impossible to ignore, and like I don't think getting our mind off of that is particularly a good idea, or I think it's being like dishonest with like the situation in the world, and I think that's also when especially when there's cases of, for example, school reopenings. That's what the school districts and bosses want you to think. They want you to stop thinking that this is like a serious issue right now, despite the fact that it is. I mean, again, like 500,000 just in America, 500,000 people have died of COVID-19. Been over 2.5 million deaths worldwide. That is a ton of people. That's a ton of people. Can you imagine? I mean, good Lord. Let's finish here. This is just talking about treatment. We could move on from here. Treatment needs to be customized, blah, blah, blah. We're like rubber bands, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, thanks, CNN. So yeah, there's that story. That's horrible. So how's everybody doing in chat today? How's your day going? Tell me something good. I have a couple more stories I want to get to, but I think we're gonna do like a story, then maybe a little bit of break, and then that's how we're gonna sort of structure this show going forward. I know I had one that I had pulled up, and I need to find it, and it'll be some candy for the end, so I definitely don't want to miss it. If you're gonna have to go through all this horrible stuff, you might as well get some fun stuff too. Okay. So this story right here is absolutely 100% a vanity story for me in a certain way. Like this is a story that probably most people who are not teachers would not cover. Okay, have friends and family busting clots in a hospital catheter lab. The situation is not good, but they're getting vaccinated. Oh my God. That's horrible. Oh man. Wow. That's I don't even know what to say, Lauren. That's a nightmare. I'm glad they're getting vaccinated. I'm getting vaccinated today too. It's just like we played games too much with this damn thing, and like it's obvious that the people who make the decisions, the capitalists, the bosses, and the people in the U.S. government who basically serve at their whim, that they don't care about working people. They just simply don't. They would rather the society reopen and life can go back to normal, and people go back to making money for their turning profits up. That's the objective. That's the whole thing, and it's truly like reprehensible, and it needs to be overturned. That's just like, I'm sorry. Okay, let's do this Biden story. So, like I was saying, this is a story that definitely is going to get my attention every single time. Joe Biden made one campaign promise. One promise. He had one job that really mattered to teachers. He just broke it. Candidate Biden made many boilerplate, vaguely general promises about education, just like most candidates. Betsy DeVos's whole thing is over. But one promise resonated strongly with teachers across the nation. In Pittsburgh on December 14th, 2019, Denisha Jones asked, if elected president, will you commit to ending the use of standardized testing in public schools? Biden responded, before the applause had even begun to die down, because that's a very popular position. Yes. Last year, Betsy DeVos saw the wisdom of waiving the big standardized test during a chaotic pandemic response. She had indicated that she would not waive this year's tests, but teachers were hopeful that a new administration might provide much-needed relief from the 2021 test. Yesterday, acting assistant education attorney Ian Rosenblum informed the state education leaders that no waivers would be issued for testing this year. Quote, to be successful once schools have reopened, we need to understand the impact COVID-19 has had on learning and identify what resources and support students need. What the hell is this? So even in the best of times, even in the most normal of times, Standardized testing, and this is a position that I hold very, very strongly. It's not like representative of anything that kids know, and it's not representative of anything that teachers teach. It is literally only a disciplining tool for both. Standardized tests are used to keep teachers sweating, and basically it's structured the entire way education happens. Everything is geared towards these tests, and it's absolute insanity. Because teachers' evaluations are based off of these things. Kids, promotional level, like whether or not they get to move to the next grade, can be based off of that. They're bad, and plus they make millions of dollars for companies like Pearson. Billions of dollars, millions of dollars. That's peanuts. National Education Union leaders were quick to respond. AFT President Randy Weingarten said, quote, "It misses a huge opportunity to really help our students by allowing the waiver of assessments and the substitution instead of locally developed authentic assessments that could be used by educators and parents as a baseline for work this summer and next year." Now, I have a lot of disagreements with Randy Weingarten, but I very, very strongly agree with this statement. And, I'm not, when I say I have disagreements with Randy, I don't mean like I'm anti-union. I'm very, very much pro-union. I think that the way that she, carries out some of her business as the way that she operates as a leader is not the way I would do it. However, this is 100% perfect statement and 100% agree. NEA, the other teachers union president, Becky Pringle, was more to the point. "Standardized testings have never been valid or reliable measures of what students know and are able to do, and they are especially unreliable now." Bang, exactly. I agree with Becky Pringle more. The value of the big standardized test has been long debated, but their shortcomings loom particularly large now. The tests, which addressed only math and reading, are very limited in scope. Rosenblum's letter suggests states may choose to shorten the test, which makes its scope even more limited. Yeah, we'll just cut back a little bit on the test. We'll actually take away even the limited utility that it has. Just get rid of it. Why would you just make these middle of the road in the margin concessions? Rosenblum's letter suggests that states may choose to shorten the test, which will make its scope even more limited. Rosenblum's letter also acknowledged that where students cannot yet safely attend school, it's reasonable that they not travel to school to take the test. They can take the test at home. That means that some students are either taking the test remotely at home or not at all. Earlier this year in Ohio, in-person reading tests were administered to third graders. 1 in 5 students did not take the test. So you're not even getting the information. You're not getting the coverage of we don't even know where the kids are at because not enough people are taking tests. I mean, that's 20% of kids that in Ohio that didn't take the test. There's going to be a million in standardized testing time. Let me tell you, it like I said, when I say it dominates part of the school year, I teach special education. There's this entire crunch and freak out at the school, every school I've ever taught at, where essentially you need to make sure with special education that kids have their accommodations qualified for, that they can get that. So, I would get kids that would have they would need blocks or manipulatives, or they would be able to use a calculator, or they would get read aloud because they would have specific needs in those kind of educational areas. And kind of getting that hammered out at even the most normal of times is a huge problem. And then doing that now in the midst of all of this COVID stuff already is a huge problem. I mean, we have kids at home who are going to, where I live, kids are, virtual remoting in over, something like Google Meets or Zoom. And at the same time, you have kids in the classroom, teachers are being asked to do both. It's just asking more and more of our educators, not just teachers. Teachers, paraeducators, because paraeducators do just as much of this stuff. Clerical staff, administrative staff, even custodial staff. It's a nightmare. And that's what the article goes on to say. So, like right now, we're trying. It's kind of like what I was saying before. Like we need to get rid of standardized testing, just flat out. Just get rid of it. It's not necessary. It's not helpful. It's not good. All it does is perpetuate and basically tell us what the information we're already looking for. Oh wow, these schools in higher socioeconomic areas with these mostly white kids are doing really great, and all these schools in like lower socioeconomic areas with largely like black and brown kids are doing terrible, and we need to do something about that. We need to fix it. We need to make them charter schools, and that's the sort of way that the education system works. It justifies existing biases that exist within the society. So when we use this kind of testing, again, even at the best of times, then they're bad. What I think happens, and maybe people can disagree with me on this, when when elected officials specifically, I'm not a part of this, when elected officials insist and govern in such a way that they act like this must continue, this has to happen, the test must go on. What they're doing is they're trying to inflict, like they want to put discipline back in and emphasize like we're going back to normal, folks. We're not like the party's over. The last year where we waived the test is over, and now we are back to normal. Things are going back to the way that they were, and that's just how it goes. I mean, that's why we haven't. That's the same exact reason, honestly, why we haven't gotten more than the little piddly pittance that we got for COVID relief money. The little checks from $1,800 and then $1,200. I'm sorry, $600, and then the $1,400 that they promised that they're going to be sending us. Many places, they comparing the U.S. to other countries is fraud. I'm not going to lie, it is. However, many of these places outside of the U.S. were able to do bigger lockdowns because they gave their citizens more money to stay home. And when you don't give people the opportunity or the material need, the things that they need to stay home, they're not going to do it. They need to go to work. They're forced back into work, which in a capitalist society is the idea. The idea is to discipline workers and make them as precarious as possible so that they have to depend on their jobs and their bosses to survive. Period. End of story. And it not only extends to the workers, it extends to their entire families, because children are like not exactly the same thing as a worker, but they are dependent on workers, obviously, their parents, their families. And when you force them back to school, because when they're out of school, it upsets the entire situation. But because they have to find somewhere for them to go, they need somebody to watch them or whatever when they're forced to go back to work. So this is a big monkey wrench in the works when the kids are out of school. When they go back into school, despite the safety of the situation, that sends a very clear signal that everything's kind of getting back to normal. And let's get back to the thing that matters, which is making money for your boss. So yeah, that's enough of that. I'm like so super pissed about this particular episode. Like before in 2019, like literally in 2019, Joe Biden before COVID is saying like is answering the question, will you commit to ending standardized tests? Flat yes. And now, in the context of COVID, with all of this stuff happening right now, he's forcing standardized tests back when they weren't even there last year. They didn't even have Betsy DeVos, the evil boogie woogie man of education. And I mean, I'm not going to defend Betsy DeVos in any way. However, she, as Secretary of Education, waived standardized testing, and Joe Biden's not going to do it. Like, and this is one of those sort of things. I guess I thought I was done, and I'm not. This is one of those things where when Democrats or whatever literally do worse than Republicans, and then when election time rolls around, they're like, man, look at how bad Republicans are. They're trying to kill everybody, which is true. But they're giving people money. I mean, another example of this that comes to mind is the checks, the $1,800 that we got in what was it, April? God, it seems like a million years ago. And the $600 was it? It was for how much was it? I can't remember. $1,200. It wasn't 18. It was $1,200. And the $600 that we received in COVID relief just last month. That's a total of well, I'm doing math live on air. 12 plus 6 is 18. That's $1,800 total. That's where I got that number from. So we have $1,800 that the Republicans gave us, and now, after promising, or at least seeming to promise, $2,000, like then they're saying like actually that part of that $4,000 that part of that $2,000 that we promised you was given to you by the Republicans, who just gave you $600. So we're trying to take credit for the thing that they gave you and also give you less because of that. Which is insanity politically. I mean, like, people want more money right now. People don't give a damn about the debt or the deficit or any of these things. They need to put food on the table. They need soup for their family. And the idea that like, wow, the American people will just suddenly like, oh wow, $2,000. We're actually mad at you, Joe Biden, for doing that. People would take more. People would take $5,000. People will take waiving $10,000 or $50,000 or all of your student debt, which it doesn't seem like you're going to do either. Like, people need to survive, and Joe Biden's right now as president has been very, very underwhelming on this. I had another story relating to this for Joe Biden disappointment. I mean, I say disappointment as though I had like high expectations of Joe Biden. I didn't. Where is it? So sorry, I got a little ranty, folks. Hope that was entertaining. But I'm just the thing that makes me the craziest about a lot of this stuff, if I'm being totally honest, the thing that makes me absolutely blind with rage in all of this is the people who are like, oh, just give him time. He's got a lot of bad stuff he's got to undo, which is true. Like reversing some of the Trump policies or something like that, or it's not nothing. It's definitely significant. However, you can't whine about it being really hard and then not do it. And the story that I'm looking for now, which I thought I put it in my pull list. The story that I'm looking for now is like extremely emblematic. I'm like ruining my own segue on this. So good job, Jeff. You're doing great. You're doing great, Sweaty. Day 3 of the show. You haven't perfected it yet. Oh, God. I don't want to have to dump it. Oh, I'm sorry. Here it is. Oh boy, can I read this? It's the goddamn. Like the press in the U.S. is insanity because also you have to. I mean, the Washington Post and the New York Times basically just paywall their content when they're supposed to be these purveyors of news. So they're like taking tolls from people to essentially provide what is purported to be a public good, which is just, you hate to see it, folks. All right. Here is, I think I got it. All right. Here we go. All right. Stop. All right, let's go. Progressive Dems condemn Biden for reopening a migrant children facility. Quote, will never be okay. We have a little video here. Let's give it a watch. Okay, why? Okay, you turn sound on.
What is happening at Homestead to children, what is happening as the direct result of activities of the United States government is wrong. It is a stain on our country, and we must speak out. We speak out as a people. We speak out as moral citizens, not just of the United States, but of the world. We will.
All right. So Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Representative Ilhan Omar condemned Joe Biden on Tuesday over the administration reopening a temporary detention facility for migrant children. Kids in cages. Oh, wow. The kids are back in cages. Ocasio-Cortez took to Twitter to insist that the facility was not okay. That's an understatement. Let's see what the tweet says. Okay, you link to like twitter.com. Never mind. Ocasio-Cortez, I would think that link to a tweet where it says took to Twitter and you click that link and it would give you the tweet. That very interesting interpretation of hyperlinks there, Daily Beast. Yeah, top damage widget. Did you think Joe Biden might kind of suck? Huge if true. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. The kids in cages link. That's what I was already looking for. But you know, I should have been looking at chat instead of searching things. I need to rely on chat more. Chat, I need you just as much as you need me every morning. Ocasio-Cortez took to Twitter to insist that using the facility was, quote, not okay, regardless of the political party controlling the government. The Biden administration has defended the move as a temporary measure needed to comply with protocols in place due to the COVID-19 panic. Oh my God, Democrats speak. This is not okay. Never has been okay, never will be okay, no matter the administration or party. Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, our immigration system is built on a carceral framework. It is no accident that alleging how we approach both these issues are considered controversial stances. They require reimagining our relationship to each other and challenging common assumptions we take for granted. Ocasio-Cortez went on to say that the Biden administration has only been in power for a short time and that the, quote, unjust immigration system, you can take the quotes off of that. The unjust immigration system will not transform in that time. She advocated for a bold reimagination of immigration policy, suggesting that the Department of Homeland Security shouldn't exist, and we should abolish the entire Department of Homeland Security. That is something that was literally created in the post 9/11 George Bush era. They just drummed up this entire new department out of whole cloth, literally to do surveillance on Muslims, and then later on to do essentially to create ICE. ICE is under DHS. What is up, Cyber Demon 531? Andrea, it is good to see you here. You should definitely check out Above It All next. I'm going to drop the link to that when we are done here. Above It All news stuff. She does a similar thing that we do. Operation Cloud Shark is going swimmingly. Let's see. Top damage was nice that AOC stays consistent. Hold my breath every time the liberals be liberal. I worry she's going to go along with it. I'm not too, I mean, like, as soon as she does start doing it, I think the left is going to like come on her like a mousetrap, and she knows it. And she also seems to have generally good sort of opinions on this. Anarcho-Bidenism has never worked in any place it's been tried. Oh, you're streaming hearings today. Which hearings? What hearings are they doing? Is it more GameStop stuff? More deep fucking value? Is he going to be back in front of Congress? Let me continue. Omar weighed in on the issue for a short time later. Ilhan Omar, who is another one of the better, progressive Congress members. The term progressive is sort of like, but she's actually like an ally to the left, which is good for me. Doing yesterday's police thing and doing domestic terrorism with Andy. Oh God, fun. Andy, no. That dude. Oh. Omar weighed in on the issue a short time later. Omar called the Biden administration's decision callous, while noting the previous administration had also locked up migrant children. So remember when you were at protests, or maybe you weren't, I was. When you were at protests, to highlight the fact and fight against the kids in cages that were happening under the Trump administration. It's still happening, folks. Bye, Andrea. See you later. It's still happening, folks. It is still happening. We still have the kids in the cages. It's just a blue flag flying over the cage instead of a red one. This is like when we had Jamie Peck on the show. She went on our radio show yesterday, and she talked about specifically with like Andrew Cuomo and his huge cover up of essentially like many deaths at a nursing home due to COVID. And basically called it blue MAGA, doing the same thing that the MAGA people do just for Democrats. And I can't argue with that. Multiple administrations have made the callous choice to lock up thousands of children seeking refuge in the United States of America. As long as we see people seeking a better life as aliens instead of fellow human beings, our immigration system will continue to fail us. Now, that one little part at the end is where, well, I guess with the context she put there, it makes sense. However, like the idea that the immigration system is failing us, like if we want, I guess what she's saying is if we want the immigration system to do good, then it will fail us. But I guess I'm not as optimistic as she is, and maybe she just needs to position herself like that because she's a member of Congress. But like, I'm just sort of like, I think of ICE and, Customs and Border Patrol and the Department of Homeland Security as functioning as intended. So that's a slight disagreement between me and Ilhan Omar. The Department of Health and Human Services announced Monday that it was reactivating a temporary, quote, influx care facility. Influx care facility? What the hell? Capable of holding up to 700 minors aged 13 to 17 in Carrizo Springs. Oh my God, it's a middle school. Or it's like a middle high. Oh God, it's a junior high. Like, well, it's not actually a junior high school. Junior high schools are not like prisons, but like it's got junior high school aged kids to like high school, which is an interesting decision. The Biden administration says that the facility is needed due to a recent surge in unaccompanied minors arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border during the pandemic. Why would that be happening? The move provoked criticism from both progressives and Republicans. Some accused the administration of hypocrisy for reopening the facility. I'm not worried about the hypocrisy, really. I'm worried about the fact that there's cages with children in it, middle school aged kids, and I mean, obviously there are younger places with younger. Some accused the administration of hypocrisy for reopening the facility, which Democrats had previously described as a site where the detention of kids in cages took place under the administration of former President Donald Trump. White House security Jen Psaki, who is a professional liar, pushed back on the criticism during a press conference hearing. I'm not going to read her lies. That's just, I'm not going to do the propaganda for the Biden administration, so I'm not gonna read that part. Sorry. Sorry for the Jen Psaki up heads out there, but I'm just not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. People were risking federal charges, slashing ICE tires, giving people sanctuary, and physically stopping ICE from disappearing people so liberals can do this shit. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, and again, the problem that I have with all of this stuff right now is that when you're mad at it, when, you know, Orange Man is doing it, that's one, you know, that's great. However, if you're I mean, they're back at brunch, folks. They're back at brunch. Brunch is back on the menu. And that's not even fair to brunch. Brunch is good. Hey, Sheriff. Whoa, that highlight function is sick. Yeah, it's StreamYards. We started using StreamYards. Look, you're highlighted now. Top damage wizard. She's got hot mom bangs. Julianne Moore energy, though. Sad. That's pretty funny. Man, you never disappoint, buddy. I had one last oh, it's a heart. Thank you. Heart right back to you. One last thing that I wanted to look at. This is it. Yes. Okay, good. This is kind of a piece of candy to kind of wrap us up and bring us home. A little bit of fun. One of my favorite commentators in the U.S. press, one of the most hard-hitting, truth-telling commentators is, of course, Meghan McCain. She is unflinching in her criticism of why, well, of that nerd, Anthony Fauci, and she wants to know the real question. She wants to know the answers to the real questions. Why don't I, Meghan McCain, why don't I know when I'm going to get the vaccine? Let's watch.
So, Meghan, are you any more optimistic about all of this? Do you see an end in sight?
Really quickly, I just wanted to show a clip of Dana Bash talking to Dr. Fauci this weekend.
My parents have already gotten their...
Now, we talked about this clip on the air, and we talked about some of the problems with it and the fact that, like Fauci is kind of just like... he's got limitations, and like the Fauci like super stands are kind of annoying, but like essentially he's a nerd that's giving pretty much straightforward information. He's fucked up in the past, but it's largely fine. But anyway.
Second dose. They're fully vaccinated. Does that mean it's okay for them to spend time with their grandchildren who obviously have not been vaccinated? What's your recommendation?
You know, I'm not going to make a recommendation now, except to say that these are things that we really do. I mean, literally every day, Dana, we look at that, we look at the data, we look at what's evolving about how many people are getting vaccinated, and there will be recommendations coming out. I don't want to be making a recommendation now on public TV. We want to sit down with the team, take a look at that.
So I was very frustrated when I saw this clip. I first and foremost want to say that I respect the great tragedy and all the pain that has come of our handling of the coronavirus. And there are 500,000 Americans that don't have family members, and it's horrific and very sad. And the grief that our country is going through should not be downplayed. That being said, we are next week it will be a year since we left studio.
So yes. The coronavirus is bad, and it's very sad, and people are sick, and many people have died. Yes, all that's sad. But by the way, that's a good screenshot. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's a good screenshot.
And I have been very responsible in many different ways, as so many Americans have been.
I have been responsible personally. I've been extremely personally responsible. You know how there's so many people that have not been extremely responsible, that are not like me. They're not good like me.
And the fact that Dr. Fauci is going on CNN and he can't tell me that if I get the vaccine, if I'll be able to have dinner with my family or dinner with, I mean, I don't have any grandparents left, but, older people, if I can go to dinner at friends' houses who are older, it's terribly inconsistent messaging, and it continues to be inconsistent messaging. In Israel and Tel Aviv, one of the messages that they...
Hold on a second. So... She is concerned specifically, much like I am, about going out and having, fun with her family. She's been cooped up in her home, doing The View from her house, and she's had enough. She's gone stir crazy.
Tel Aviv, one of the messages that they have, I saw a sign that said, "Get a shot, take a shot." Meaning, if I get the vaccine, then I can go out and I can have shots with my friends. Is the science in Israel different than the...
All right. So, let me... take a look really quick. Israel, first headline I pull up, Israel vaccination Palestinians. Israel gives vaccine to far off allies as Palestinians wait. So one of the big things that she's talking about first is that, like, she's talking about how Israel has given, they've changed their campaign to give a shot, take a shot. So you can like go to the bar and have, mad drinks with your friends. You can go play beer pong or whatever. Because if you get your vaccine, which, like, on the surface, anywhere else or many other places in the world, I wouldn't have a problem with that. However, like, the fact that how those vaccines have been distributed in Israel have not exactly been equitable, I guess you could say. That's one way of sort of talking about, I don't know. Palestinians right now essentially are not getting the vaccine. If you live in the West Bank, if you live in Gaza, you're not getting the vaccine, despite the fact that half of the Israeli population, like, you are in the borders of where Israel claims to sort of hold sovereignty. And if you live in those places, guess what? Too bad. Sad day for you. It's absolutely totally like racist and horrible, and you're bragging about that. One, two, population size in Israel is like significantly smaller. I think it's how many people live in Israel? 9 million people compared to the US, which is over 300 million people, 328 million people. So it's a little bit more of a lift here. In terms of percentage, we've not quite gotten to the point where we're at the critical capacity to deliver or to like sort of change gears on the vaccine like that. So, okay, fine. Let's keep going.
Science here in the United States of America, because Israel has over half of their country vaccinated already and seem to be doing pretty well. The idea that I can get vaccinated and I won't be able to see friends and nothing in life changes.
I can't see my friends.
And that we're going to have to wear masks forever.
We're going to have to wear masks forever.
I don't understand the downplaying of getting the vaccine, because right now we should be wanting as many Americans as possible to get a vaccine. The fact that Meghan McCain.
That suggestion that we don't want as many people as possible to get the vaccine is sort of like kind of insanity too, because I got to hurry up and finish here. But it's really kind of crazy, because at what point did anybody downplay the like wanting to get people vaccines when the real problems that we're having are production and distribution? Like literally, I mentioned at the top of the show, they had at the Ilario Center at 9 o'clock in the morning. There was you could sign up to go to the Ilario Center and get a vaccine. And by 9:01, it was already filled up. So people want to get the vaccine. The problem is getting people actually getting it to happen.
Americans as possible to get a vaccine. The fact that Meghan McCain, co-host of The View, I don't know when or how I will be able to get a vaccine.
That's the best part. The fact that Meghan McCain, co-host of The View, don't know when I'm going to get a vaccine.
Because the rollout for my age range and my health is so nebulous. I have no idea when and how I can get it. I want to get it. If you call me at 3 o'clock in the morning, I will go any place at any time to get it. I want to be responsible and obviously wait my turn. But this rollout has been a disaster. And I understand, obviously, President Trump can take much of the blame. But now we're in the Biden administration. I, for one, would like something to look forward to and to hope for. Because if getting the vaccine means that just nothing changes and we have to wait another few years till everyone gets it, there's already a lot of people now.
So she wants to go back to brunch too. I don't know. I thought that was really funny. Meghan McCain, co-host of The View, the fact that I can't get the vaccine before you peasants, before you, like, she reminds me of like a really good wrestling heel. I like wrestling, right? I'm a big fan of wrestling, but like she basically was doing the thing like, I have to be here in, Tacoma, Washington with you losers. Just to try and draw heat. That's what it feels like her job is to do now. Anyway, we're going to kind of shut it down. You should smash the like button if you haven't done so already. You should smash the subscribe button, share the video. You should probably go check out our Patreon, patreon.com /Good Morning Comrade. We will be back tomorrow with a partially vaccinated boy back in this chair. And hopefully more of y'all in chat. Cause y'all keep me going. I want to call her personally and let her know how poor I am, and that I do have both doses. You should tweet at her. You should tweet it at her, because we can see what she does. Me, a poor pleb who is not a co-host on The View, I have gotten the vaccine and you haven't. What is wrong with our society? The world is upside down. All right, so I'm gonna send you over. Here's a link. Click this link. Go check out Above It All. Andrea is going to be doing her show like she does every day from 9 a.m. until 11. You should check that out. And yeah, thanks everybody. Super last thing before you do go. Check out our podcast episode. goodmorningcomrade.com. I'm sorry. Yeah. goodmorningcomrade.com, or like on your device, whatever. whatever your podcast thing is. We had Jamie Peck from the Antifada and the Majority Report come on. We talked a little bit about strategy for like building a workers' party and how we should engage with things like elections and the labor movement. It was really good, really interesting conversation. And yeah, check it out. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button here, and patreon.com/Good Morning Comrade. Thanks everybody. Love you. Bye. Okay, Boomer.
Hola,